Come on in. Welcome to Idled Out, where we talk all things Survivor. My name is Luke, and today we're talking about the twists, idols, and advantages that you didn't see on Survivor. I think it's fair to say that Survivor loves their advantages. They love their twists. They love twisty advantages and advantagey twists. We've seen so many of these that you'd have to be a Survivor wiki admin just to remember them all. But did you know that there are so many twists, idols, and advantages that some were cut out of the TV show itself? With only 42 minutes on the clock, survivors long had to choose carefully what to include and what not to include in the episode. Going back to Season 1, entire reward challenges have been cut for time. But even more surprisingly, there have also been whole advantages found by players, as well as game-changing twists, which were completely cut from the show as aired. So today, I thought it would be fun to go through the cut twists and advantages that we know about, including one as recent as Survivor 45, and I'll explain what they were, as well as my best guess as to why they were cut. As advantages are often both good TV and crucial to the season narrative, I was actually only able to find 4 that were excised from the show completely, so this will be the rare Idled Out Top 4. All that said, let's dig in to the Survivor twists, idols, and advantages that you didn't see on the show. At number 4 is what I believe to be the first twist fully excised from the show for time, an offer of tribal mutiny in Survivor Pearl Islands. Survivor was on the mutiny train long before Hero Candace heroically flipped on all her allies to go make out with Adam in Survivor Cook Islands. An offer of tribal mutiny was offered in Survivor Thailand on day 13, which no one accepted. And as we saw it on TV, this twist was not offered again until Survivor Cook Islands, where Candace and Penner accepted. But there was a secret, unshown offer of mutiny in Survivor Pearl Islands. It's believed that this mutiny offer was made either before the second immunity challenge on day 6, or more likely at the final 12. As to why it wasn't aired, well, the offer of mutiny was not taken, so it was not shown. And they probably did not want to show a potential twist flopping twice in a row. Plus, they've got a Rupert roaring quota to meet here. Something's gotta go. There have long been rumors for 2 reasons as to why no one took up this offer. Although he's frequently denied this mutiny ever happened, despite other cast members like Rhino and Sandra saying it did, it's been stated that Savage threatened the potential mutineers, Michelle and Sean, that they'd be voted out immediately if they mutinied. And more hilariously, I've heard that Fairplay tried to get one tribe to completely mutiny to the other, forcing an early merge and greatly pissing off production. His specialty. Whatever the reason, no one embraced the opportunity to completely betray everyone they know in the game and show their complete lack of loyalty less than a week in order to go be an obvious sitting duck on the other tribe. And so the offer to mutiny was quietly cut from the final product. If only Candace were here. At number 3 is an unseen immunity idol found, then discarded by Parvati on Exile Island in Survivor Micronesia. This is the first and only idol find in the show's history to be found and then immediately thrown away, ultimately resulting in the entire thing being cut from the episode. We only learned about this in post-game interviews. At the final 5 of Micronesia, Parvati is exiled by Eric, and as the edit showed us, she has a relaxing vacation, so confident in her endgame that she can just hang out and get a tan. In reality, Parvati spent her afternoon out here becoming the second woman to ever find an idol. We deserved to see this for that reason alone. Idols were hidden at Exile this season, and the way it worked is that you had to follow a series of increasingly difficult clues in order to find your prize. According to several post-game interviews, both at the time and as recent as a few years ago, Parvati did indeed find an idol out here. She easily found the first clue, but ended up accidentally skipping the second clue and going straight to the third. which pointed her towards the idol's location, which she found. She described it as looking like a cute little voodoo guy. Parvati internally debated bringing him back to camp, but ultimately decided to bury her new friend on exile, similar to the way she'd buried the games of every other man this season, figuring that it would only complicate her endgame. She feared that she'd have to tell Natalie, who would expect her to play the idol on her that round, screwing up Parvati's plan to go to the end with Amanda and Cirie. I understand why this was cut out. This was already a pretty stuffed episode, and Parvati's exile segment is like 15 seconds long, but one can only imagine these sorts of god-tier confessionals Parvati at her peak was firing off about finding an idol and then throwing it away. Poor little voodoo guy stood even less of a chance than Eric. At number 2 is the Idol Nullifier from Survivor 42. Originally hidden in a reward and then discarded, only to be later found by Omer. Although this advantage did not make air because it went unplayed and unused, this may be the most impactful unseen advantage on this list. The Idol Nullifier, previously seen in Survivor David vs. Goliath, where it ruled, Survivor Winners at War, where it was irrelevant, and Survivor Island of the Idols, where it ruined the season, more so. The Idol Nullifier was given one last shot in Survivor 42 to recapture its original glory. If only every Idol Nullifier only eliminated Dan's. The story of the Survivor 42 Nullifier has had to be cobbled together from post-game press from both players and Probst, but the story, I believe, is as follows. In episode 4, Taku wins reward, which is 10 stinky fish. Gotta love those new era rewards. Still better than Applebee's. Unbeknownst to the players, there was actually an Idol Nullifier hidden in one of the fish, which can actually be seen in the episode if you pause at just the right time. However, it went unfound because Jonathan is so hangry that he actually just guts the fish so quickly and carelessly that he throws the Idol Nullifier away with all the fish guts. But production is not going to let a good or bad advantage go to waste. So they later planted the Idol Nullifier at Taku's water well, which Omer eventually found with Jonathan, using it as a bargaining chip to cement their early game alliance. Although Omer was voted out with the Idol Nullifier in his pocket and we didn't learn about its existence until his exit press, his possession of the advantage did play into his elimination somewhat. Omer and Lindsay eventually became close allies, and he told her about the Nullifier, which Jonathan sniffed out, and he eventually told Mike about Omer's advantage, leading to a permanent loss of trust between Omer and Mike and Jonathan, severely harming Omer's game, connections, and options down the stretch. As for why we didn't see this, well, this just seems like a lot of nuance to explain for an advantage that went unplayed and ultimately seems somewhat irrelevant when the two guys who felt betrayed by Omer's possession of this thing chickened out on voting him out anyway. Most importantly, however, this was the second time in a row this advantage was introduced in a season, but flopped. Or it might actually be the third time it flopped if you count it eliminating Janet on Island of the Idols as a flop, which I do. At number 1 is our most recent unseen twist, a tribal visit in the premiere of Survivor 45. If you only watched the premiere of Survivor 45 and did not engage with any of the exit press, you might think the post-challenge segment, where the Lulu tribe was trying to decide which of their deadweight to jettison first, was completely normal. But there was actually a 7th person at camp all afternoon who actually cast the first vote of the season, only for it to all be cut out. As part of their reward for coming in first at the inaugural immunity challenge, the Blue Bellow tribe was able to send one of their members over to Lulu to observe and engage in tribal dynamics. They selected Kendra, who spent all afternoon at Lulu hanging out and talking with the players, all of which was creatively edited around because of Hannah's decision to ultimately quit because she couldn't stand not vaping for 72 hours. I'm sorry, but if Shane can do it, so can you. But there's an even bigger secret to Kendra's visit, and that is that she actually was able to secretly cast a vote in Tree Mail before leaving, where she apparently voted for Brandon, making her the first person to officially cast a vote in Survivor 45. On his podcast, Jeff has implied this twist will continue into the season, but as of the time of writing this segment, the day after episode 3 aired, it has yet to show up, and only time will tell how Kendra's Lulu connections will pay off in the future. Had this played out though, think of the drama. With Emily likely going 5-1, Kendra's second ballot for Brandon would cause absolute pandemonium. First of all, Brandon would probably, faint. But more importantly, Caleb, Sabaya, and Sean would all be on the hunt to figure out which of them defected to voting for Brandon, likely leading to post-tribal chaos. If this was an intentional move by Kendra, then this is actually a super smart play on her behalf. Or she might have just voted for Brandon because he's like a Gemini or something. Jury's still out. Got nothing else for ya. Don't be as unseen in the comments as these advantages. Like and subscribe, and I'll get you more Survivor content just like this. Until next time, don't get idled out.